Hi, my name's Eli, and I'm 17, and I attend West Valley High School.
Hi, my name is Evan, and I'm 17, and I also attend West Valley.
The topic we're going to be talking to you about today is water waste. I'm a stakeholder in this because, as a family of five, I take lots of showers every morning, and my mom likes to cook, and I have a big backyard that I have to irrigate every day.
I'm a stakeholder in this for the same reasons, and I help my grandparents irrigate a field, and it is a lot of extra water.
Me and Evan have realized that our families use over the amount that we need. So we decided over the last few years to partner with this thing called the Water Project that we give to every year that helps construct wells in Africa. Today we're going to be talking about a story of a young man named Jacob and how this impacts his life.
This is Jacob. Jacob lives in a village that is very fortunate to have a clean water source. Every morning, Jacob gets up and takes a long, hot shower, like most of us Americans. Then he goes and fixes up his morning breakfast routine, which uses lots of water in Jacob's household. Like most Americans, Jacob loves to cook too, and cooking plays a big role in the water bill around American households. The average American uses about 88 gallons of water every day, which is a lot compared to other countries. After Jacob's breakfast routine, he goes out to irrigate his crops. Irrigation makes up big chunks of water bills, so it is very important that you irrigate efficiently. Livestock and crops greatly depend on clean water to maximize production. However, as we can see here, Jacob isn't very efficient in his watering of crops, which plays a big toll on his water bill. One night, Jacob got called over for the council meeting that their village was putting on. The city council wanted to tell Jacob that the water waste that he was having was exceeding their limit of the village. So they were trying to discuss something that would help Jacob and their village out without having to use too much water. They started talking about it, and they also realized that the water that he was wasting wasn't being treated properly, which was also really impacting the environment. So they talked about it for a little bit, and then the next morning they decided that they were going to go check and see what was the problem in their water treatment plant and what we can do to try to help the situation. As Jacob heads back to his house, he feels really bad about what he's doing. So he decides that he's going to make a difference now, and he's going to do something about it. So in the morning, 2 village council members and Jacob went down and looked at their water treatment system, and it seemed to have failed them. They started to see algae and bacteria growing in the water, which is really hurting their environment outside. So they decided that they need to change their plan and they need to fix things before it got out of hand and infected the environment. However, it might have been a little too late for them. Because of the failure of their water treatment program, they started to see that fish species started to die off in their nearby rivers, which was really hurting their aquatic ecosystems because fish play a major role in their environment. Then we also started to see that livestock started to die off, and trees started to come down with diseases, and they weren't able to stand much longer. This really impacts an environment, and usually environments aren't able to bounce back. But hopefully that with the plan that Jacob and their city council members have, that they can somehow restore this ecosystem back to the way it was. The village council members called Jacob back down to the water sewage system one more time and found out that this chemical that they could put in the water would kill all the bacteria off and make it clean and usable again and safe for the environment. This is super important because in our society today, water doesn't get treated that often, which is hurting environments like we just saw in Jacob's village. It's good news because they found out the problem in their water treatment system fast enough so the ecosystems around didn't have to suffer a whole ton and were able to bounce back. Once the water treatment system was fixed, trees started to sprout up and more livestock started to stay in the area. Crops were able to grow effectively and the fish started to regain control in their aquatic ecosystems. Before Jacob started conserving water, his net income was a decent amount, but he didn't really have enough to do fun things or to give it freely to other people. Once Jacob started conserving water, he began to realize that he was receiving a higher net income. This gives Jacob the ability to use his money freely. However, Jacob had something better in mind. He had heard about a guy who was part of the Water Project, an organization that builds wells for people down in Africa, and that was something that he wanted to be a part of.
Macho was not fortunate enough to have access to clean water. He has to walk every morning to his water source that isn't even clean. Women in the African community spend over 1/3 of their days going to get water. Without access to clean water, his life is very sad and dull. Nobody wants to live in these conditions, so something needs to happen for Macho, for him to have a fulfilling life. People are subject to harm when they do this chore. Eating contaminated food and water can lead to many diseases. One day, Macho wakes up and walks outside to retrieve water. But this time, he sees a stranger outside of his house. Out of curiosity, Macho wonders what the deal was with this stranger. He walks out to him and starts speaking with the man. The man explains that he is building a well in Macho's community. Macho is overjoyed and cannot wait to have clean water. I know I would be excited if that were to happen to me. 1 year after construction, Macho wakes up one morning, but this time things have changed. Macho woke up and he was happy. He is basically a brand new person. Instead of walking out to get his usual unclean water, he gets to run out to his amazing clean water from his well with excitement. He collects the water and gets to retrieve the crops that the well has supported. He also gets to tend to the animals with the clean water. This well has changed his entire community so much. They all don't have to get far to fetch this clean water. With this new well here, people from all around decide to make a village around the well. This one well is supporting about 3,000 people. Wells have a huge impact on the people and the environment too. The environment around has become a beautiful landscape with all kinds of different plants and animals. Just seeing one well really changes your mind, right? It really makes me want to do something about it.
Pretty inspiring video, huh? In Africa, just a little extra cash can go a long ways. Just about over $34 is enough to provide one African with a clean water source.
Over 790 million people do not have access to clean water, and as Americans, we are lucky to have access to clean water, and we waste it.
So every time you're taking a long hot shower or you flush the toilet, just remember that in Africa there are people that are in need of this water source. Imagine how much money we could save as Americans if we just cut down on our wastewater. It would definitely be enough to help out people in Africa get the clean, safe water that they need. Thanks for tuning in to our video.